Yeah, it's Monday, and we're back at it again. Brian Giffen, along with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Maurice Drayton, and we come your way tonight, as always, with Beyond the Barracks, from Over the Horizon Brewing. I think I got that right.
Yes,
2200 Harriet Street, and we appreciate all of you. We appreciate them, man. They take such good care of us here. Fun time as we talk Citadel football. And obviously, Coach, it's a tough game to go back to and unpack. I mean, it's kind of one of those, as we talked about a little bit ago before we get started, that you had kind of a bad day, and it kind of got magnified against a really good football team as it went along.
Yeah, it definitely did. And as we unpacked it, the different things that happened to us, one aspect in particular was that we all felt a little disappointed was we felt like at times we didn't fight back.
Right.
We felt like we were bullied, and we took the bullying. And this is what I shared with the team. It reminded me of a story when I was a young child. I would go to the playground, Glenwood Elementary in Charleston, West Virginia, and I got bullied, and I would get beat up by a guy named Oscar. We called him Oscar the Grouch, right? And Oscar would beat me up, and I would go home, and I'm crying, and my dad would be at the door, and he said, "Son, are you hurt or are you injured?" "I'm hurt." And then he would push me back out the door and had to go back to the park. And he told me at some point I'm going to be tired of being bullied, and I'm going to fight back. And I'll be honest with you, one day I kind of closed my eyes and swung my fist and hit Oscar right in the nose, and blood went everywhere, and the kids in the neighborhood saw it, and I never had to fight Oscar again.
Right.
And so what I told the team was, you're going to have Oscars in your life. There's going to be Oscars on your job. There's going to be Oscars in your family. There's going to be Oscars in your neighborhood. There's going to be Oscars that you're going to have to stand up to. And
Right.
once you stand up to them, you'll see that, hey, you are good enough. You can do this. And that's what we hope will happen with our team on Saturday.
Yeah, it's funny how that is, when you're a kid. But
Yeah.
I think the analogy is spot on.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I mean, you compound a couple things. You fall down a couple of scores. A couple things don't go well. Then you lose the guy that you've kind of moved into the start. Psychologically, that can
Yes.
be a little deflating. And against a really good opponent, you can't have a minute of deflation, or it's just going to get you beat.
Yeah, not at all. And part of our messaging is we have to be where our feet are, right, and be present in the moment. We had a little bit of the ring ceremony carrying over into Saturday, game
Right.
day. We had the issue of Kobe, going down. We had other little things creeping and rearing their ugly heads, and we have to be where our feet are so that we can be the best at our task at hand.
To some extent, do you think coming off a performance or an outcome like that one, that it might be good for you, coming off a week with a lot of distractions, to take the guys back on the road, relatively lengthy trip too, both directions, I might add, and get them to where they can focus and hone in on football and kind of get them away from all the things on campus that might be distracting?
No, you're absolutely correct. It's eerily similar to, after the North Dakota State loss.
Right.
There was a lot of hoopla because the number one team in the country is coming to Charleston, and you had all this fanfare. And then we got on a bus with our top 66 guys, and it was just us. And we were able to focus and hone in on the task at hand. So we're going to build some of the similar things off of that trip into this trip, and it should yield better results.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Again, the Dogs will take on Chattanooga. That's another of these quality programs, although they, too, have they've had a tough schedule, too, for one, and they're off to a slow start by their standards anyway. So they'll be looking to get well. They'll be looking to do it on their field, too. And the Dogs will have their hands full for that one for sure. But we will have that game for you, 5 o'clock pregame, our Ashley Furniture Home Store Stadium show, and then Lee Glaze and I will have coverage of the game at 6 o'clock. We won't dwell too much here on anymore on what happened this last week because, they always tell you the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield for a reason.
That's
Because
right.
you have to focus on what's ahead of you. And obviously we'll get into that a little bit more. But one last glance at this. Were there a couple of performances that maybe went unnoticed because of the outcome of the game that you were really pleased with, some guys that stood out for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And luckily we have his coach here today. But our punter, both punters, really our specialists in general, are continually doing a great job. They're coached by Coach Anthony Coaxum, Tony Coaxum, as we know him, local, Charleston, hometown hero, West Point graduate,
Right.
Super Bowl winner. I brag on this guy all the time. Former head coach. I'm so blessed to have him with us on our staff. Our punter did a great job in Platt. He had a 70-yard punt.
Right.
Our backup punter, or our punter that we use in different situations, Jack Wild, had a 50-yard punt.
Right.
Our coverage units was good. We faced another dominant returner that did not have any yards. You turn on the NFL, see what happened to my Las Vegas Raiders, right? Anytime you go against a dangerous punt returner, if one person is just an inch to the left or an inch to the right, it could be lights out.
Honestly, anybody that doesn't understand the importance of special teams to winning football games, all they had to do was watch NFL football yesterday all day.
Yes.
And they would see it because there were so many big so many blocked kicks, so many big special teams plays that swung those games. And, I mean, look, everybody understands it, but some coaches, like you guys here, put a lot more emphasis on specials than other coaches do. And those games yesterday, those examples are a good example, or those games are a good example of why.
Absolutely correct. Felt so bad for my Packers. They're kicking a game-winning field goal, and it's blocked, and Cleveland's able to get a couple first downs, and they kick a game winner at 55 yards out.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, that league far more so than what we see at the collegiate level. There's so much talent on every single team that any Sunday, and you always hear the cliches, but you know this. I mean, any Sunday, any team in that league can beat any other team in that league, regardless of the odds, everything else.
That's very accurate, but I also believe that in the Southern Conference, at this point, I haven't studied it, there's a lot of parity.
Right.
And if your mind and soul and your team is in the right framework, any team in the Southern Conference can beat another team.
Right.
One loss in this conference, and you still may be in the conference championship hunt because of the parity. So, it's a lot of ball left, and that's one thing we reminded our team about.
Honestly, the other thing before we go to a break here, playing smart football is a big deal too. Playing smart football, being disciplined you still are really on the upside in the big picture in terms of penalties and things like that. Look, you're going to accumulate some in the course of the season, but you still are in pretty good shape on some of those numbers. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know the exact stat on penalties, but I think we're in the top 5 in the country of not committing fouls. And most of the fouls we committed was us taking a delay game to give our punter more room to work.
Right. Well, this is Beyond the Barracks. We're live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing. We're here at 2200 Harriet Street, right off Rutledge and I-26, right here on the edge of downtown. And we encourage you to come by and hang out with us. We're talking Citadel football until 7 o'clock. Brian Giffen here, Coach Drayton seated right there, and Tony Coaxum will come up here next, and we'll talk some special teams and get into that a little bit more. I might delve into his background a little bit more too. Anybody that worked for John Harbaugh understands the importance of special teams.
Or has a Super Bowl ring.
That's right. Yeah, good points both. We will take a break right here. We are back with more after this. You're listening to Beyond the Barracks, and this is the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back. It's Beyond the Barracks. Let's turn the house level up also. Beyond the Barracks, and we are live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing here at 2200 Harriet Street. Brian Giffen, the voice of the Bulldogs, and now Tony Coaxum, the special teams coach of the Dogs, sitting here. And you brought some props, man. You got this wrestling style belt. Now, it's radio. We can't show it to you, but describe what we got working here.
So good to always be back here with you, man. I'm a big wrestling guy. Grew up watching wrestling.
Let me take a gander at that. That thing's heavy, man.
Yeah, it's a real thing now. Grew up wrestling a fan as a kid. My dad used to take me and my brother right there in McAllister Fieldhouse to watch old WWC
That's
stuff.
Fantastic.
So we were big things about Ric Flair and everything. So what I do is when I grade the film every week and put out all the rankings of the points that they get for performance by each position, then is a top 5.
Right.
Who is ever the number 1 on the board after that week gets the recognition, gets to carry the belt all week.
That's cool.
And then at the end of the year, who's ever the guy that has it at the very end, or who's at the top of the board at the very end, gets to keep it.
So I'm going to describe this. So it's leather and it's kind of camo green, and then it has a large chrome, front with a bulldog wrapped in chain, a really tough looking both special forces, tip of the spear, leader of the pack, devil dogs, and then let me back that house off just a little, and then a couple other little side plates on it, win score.
They represent offense and defense. So it's again, special teams, everybody.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Is part of this thing.
Yeah, and I mean these kinds of things, and look, you see these. You see these turnover props and all these things that have kind of inundated and become part of college football. The other one you got here is this Citadel blue bone.
Yeah, we got our big play bone. So that's our version of the turnover chain. But usually the turnover chain is just for the defense,
Right.
So we wanted something for the entire team.
Yeah.
So, touchdowns, interceptions, fumble recoveries, big blocks, big plays, anything that's a big play in the game. When you come to the sideline, you get presented with the bone, you get to hoorah with your team with the bone. So it's all about building that esprit de corps and getting everybody excited about playing this game with a little every dog likes a bone, right?
Right,
so
right.
there you go.
Yeah, it's amazing sometimes the little cultural things that happen in programs like this. These are all bonding things too.
Yeah.
These are all things guys can focus on and aspire to, and all this stuff. That's all part of it. There were some. You don't think much about in a 38-0 game. You're not going to go back and reflect on much that really went super well. But Coach was talking about a couple guys that really your punters have been really good all year, and he was talking about some guys that did excel on special teams in an otherwise forgettable day.
Like I said, Platt is doing a heck of a job, and obviously multi-named All-American this past year, and got NFL talent.
Right.
And he's continuing to hit the ball, and he's really hadn't even hit his groove yet of hitting those monster bombs that he likes to hit. But the biggest thing is our coverage teams have really been dialed in. We played every week so far. We played a really, really good return rate, including 2 All-Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're third in the country in net punting at well over 43 yards. And he's averaging over 46. So we're right there. And the beautiful thing about here, working with a guy like Mo who understands special teams and embraces it, a lot of places, you guys they have to play special teams. You don't have to play special. You get to play special teams here.
Right.
It's a thing to where our guys want to. There are opportunities we have to pull guys off because they're playing more on defense than here, and guys were upset that they're getting taken off of special teams. I had a scout team guy come up to me the other day. We already had a guy in the place, and he came up after practice and said, Coach, I was wondering what did I do to get taken off of scout special teams. So we have that culture where these guys are embracing being on teams, and no one's trying to get out of it. I have guys coming to me try to get on it, and it's a bear every week trying to find reps because we've been continuing to build the roster and have a bunch of guys that can do it physically, but also they don't run from it, and that's really great for me as a special teams coach.
You coached under John Harbaugh. And you worked for the Baltimore Ravens. You got a Super Bowl ring over your career too, and he's about as big a name special teams wise as you could ever find. I mean, he's such a good special teams coordinator and coach that it got him a head coaching job, and now he's one of the most tenured, if not the most tenured in the league. Him and Tomlin are, I think,
they're 1 and 2. They're 1 and 2. Yeah, and that's unfortunate that it's like that because when you think about it, special teams coordinator is the only other coach that on a daily basis talks to the entire team.
Right.
And coaches every aspect of the team.
Sure.
Heavily involved in 99% of programs, college and pros, with the game management. Mo and I worked hand in hand on game situations, calling timeouts, all that stuff. So who knows more about the entire workings of the game? You got to be able to coach offensive and defensive aspects of it. And working for, and like I said, I've been blessed to work for what I call my special team Jedis, as in, in Coach Harbaugh at Baltimore, and then the special teams coordinator Jerry Rosberg, who I learned a lot from. Joe DeCamillis, who's now special teams coordinator at South Carolina. That was who I worked for in Denver. We won a Super Bowl together.
Yeah.
And my special teams coordinator in college, John Bonamego, who gave me my first full-time coordinator job at the college level at Central Michigan. All these individuals, that's over probably 150, maybe 200 years of special teams knowledge. And, I've been coaching 23 years now, and over half of that has been with special teams. and I've learned from some of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
And Mo's right there with it. So, and we say it all the time. We share a brain on how to attack this game, not only special teams wise, but in the whole scheme of things. So, he gives me the time to get the results that I've been getting the last year. Again, we're playing solid on teams, but I'm still not happy because we're not making those game-changing plays that we made last year. With the blocks, we led the nation in blocks right here, and that's a stat that can be something like turnovers. They kind of come and go in spurts.
At random, sure.
But our thing is not just to be part of the game and not make mistakes. We're trying to impact and win the game and influence winning on special teams by making plays on our own and setting the offense defense up and scoring on our own. So we got to get that going. I'm hungry for that. Our guys are hungry for that. While we're continuing to do the really important things, being solid, we want to be elite. That's why we call it special forces.
Yeah, I love
special
that.
Forces is an elite group, not just the
right.
regular person army. So we pride ourselves on that, and that's what we want to get back to.
Yeah, these are some really cool props. It's about a 2.5 foot bone that's in Citadel blue wrapped in white tape on one end, and then the aforementioned wrestling belt. Really cool. We're visiting with Tony Coaxum. Last thing before we take a break here. So this week coming off, an outcome like this one, a tough day that kind of got away, and it forgettable, all that stuff. Of course, you don't forget because you learn from everything. But is it a good thing in your mind maybe to go on the road to take on a tough opponent because you can drive all the focus back together, you can get everything, you can get all the messaging out and no distractions and all that stuff, and maybe in this case being on the road's a good thing right after a game.
I personally always enjoyed being on the road as a player and as a coach everywhere I've been. For that very reason, you get to bunker down, you get to kind of that me against the world, you get to be just with your brothers, and particularly in an environment like here at the Citadel or where I played at West Point and coached at West Point, getting away from the everyday grind that goes on, and now you get a singular focus of focusing on ball and getting to that mindset of, our guys are told how great they are all the time because they are.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with being the bad guy.
That's right.
And there's everyone in movies, you like rooting for the bad guy just a little bit.
Right.
So we get to be the bad guy. We don't get to be the good Citadel cadets anymore.
Yeah.
We get to go on the road and let people boo us.
Yeah.
And be and find that part that's required to play this game the right way, because this is a violent game, and you have to have a little bit of a screw loose to play this game the right way.
Right.
And when you're on the road, you can tap into that a little bit more, and that's what we're looking to do this week.
I've said this a million times. It can be the classiest human being on the face of the planet, but to play football really well, you got to have a little nastiness. You got to have a little edge in there.
You got to have a lot of it. You got
Right.
to play up to the edge, and sometimes that take you over the edge.
That's
And
right.
If you get a penalty because you blocked the guy a little too hard, or hey, we can live with that.
That's right.
It's that's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
A line I got from Harbaugh when things like that happen. Hey, penalties like that. That's the cost of playing this game the right way.
Right.
The Ravens were a hard-nosed, physical, and still is.
Yeah.
That's the mantra of the Ravens, and we built that same type of thing when I was in Denver with Coach Kubiak, who was the OC there.
Right.
And he took me with him to Denver. And we were a hard-nosed, rugged team. We had Peyton Manning, the first ballot Hall of Famer. We lost him for 7 weeks. But we were defensive-led, special teams-led, grind it out, rugged, take our opponent underneath the water and see who's going to survive. And that's how we won that Super Bowl. And that's the type of mentality we need here at San. We have that because that's what is required of these guys. The ones that may end up going in the military, and just being in this environment, you built that, and that's where I'm from, being a West Point grad and Army football player.
Right.
You got to have that grit and grind, and that, again, you got to have a little screw loose to play this game the right way.
And that's a good thing. You got to have a little screw loose to work in radio, too. See, so I'm a good fit here.
There you go.
But, hey, appreciate it as always. Man. Let's go to Chattanooga and get back on the winning track.
Let's go with this thing. Let's go be the bad guy.
All right. That is Citadel Special Teams Coach Tony Coaxum spending time with us here on Beyond the Barracks. We are live at Over the Horizon Brewing. We're at 2200 Harriet Street right here by downtown. We're right off I-26, right at Rutledge Avenue. You can't miss it. And we got about 27, 28 minutes left. So swing on by here, have a cold one, and talk football with us. Back with more after this on the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. And we're back with more Beyond the Barracks. And we are live tonight at Over the Horizon Brewing here at 2200 Harriet Street. We're right off Rutledge Avenue, really right by I-26. We're right on the edge of downtown, a couple of blocks from the Citadel. But Brian Giffen right here, and now joined by baseball coach Russell Triplett. It's good to see you for one. It's been the last time I saw you, I think we were winning like 6 out of 7, something like that. No, but how's everything going? How's the off season progressing for you?
It's going. I'm a lot more familiar with the place this time right now, but we're still starting over. I mean, you got a new team each year. We got a lot of new guys. We got the right returners. So I do think we're further along. Last year we had a brand new coaching staff, all new players. It was new for everyone. So
right.
At least there's somewhat I'm familiar with the school, but we got a whole new group that has no idea about what this place is about. And
right.
At the end of the day, we represent this institution, and we want to do it at the highest level.
Right.
But you've got to learn to respect what your teammates do. And so we're trying to do that right now. And I'm looking forward to the team practice, getting into the team practice. We start this weekend. We've been just doing individual work. So you have them in short spurts, but you love it when you got the group together because, really the most impressive part about this place is the ability to build a great team. And,
right.
That's our goal. So the individual work is kind of, to me, a little selfish, but skill set, and then now we got to start working on the team aspect.
Now, when you got here last year, you did inherit a number of players, and a lot of these guys that had struggle years to some degree the year before really helped you guys turn things around and have a winning season, and go and win in the tournament a little bit and kind of move the program forward. How many new faces, or how many of those guys will move along? And I may be asking you for a list you don't have right in front of you, but you know what I mean.
No, I know the guys. I mean, We had a lot of older guys in the program last year that hadn't played much, that hadn't had a lot of success, but at the end of the day, we're getting the best version of them and what this place
right.
builds. And a senior that graduates from the Citadel is different than most seniors around the country. So, I'm getting the best version of them. I'm seeing why every company wants to hire them.
Right.
I'm fielding all the phone calls about looking to hire our guys. So, we had the best version of them, and they had some success, and they kind of moved it forward, and it's a great start to what we're trying to do. And I don't think how it ends will define us, but
right.
kind of where the standards are. And I think we were trying to figure out and establish the standards a year ago. Now that the standards are kind of set, and it's our job to meet those standards each day. So it's been fun. I love it. I'm probably more excited right now than I was this time last year. I love being on the field. I like to see the guys show up that like to work, that like to play baseball, that like to represent the Citadel in the right way, and want to do winners. That's
right.
what we're looking for, winners. And then we're at a school that builds them, and we're trying to help with that too.
Honestly, I was talking to Colin a little bit when I first got out here this afternoon. We were just talking a little about recruiting. I knew you were coming, and he did say that you've added a lot of arms, and obviously you got to have a lot of arms.
Yeah, pitching's the name of the game, and as long as I'm a part of this program, it will be defined about how we pitch and play defense, and
right.
That's something that's got to show up every single day. We didn't have, a lot of teams in the country will say we didn't have enough arms. They're talking about enough good arms in their mind. We didn't have enough arms last year. We were a little short-handed. We used everybody we had.
Right.
And we're not in that position right now. Now, we've got a long ways to go, and we're still starting the same way, and that's attacking the strike zone. And it doesn't matter how good the stuff is, you got to throw it over the plate. So that's where it starts. We're getting started now, and hope these guys understand it's a process. But when you have a little success, you're trying to get that and forget how it happened.
Right.
And it's day after day after day, and it's tough right now. And you battle different things throughout the year, and at this part of the year is battling, quit looking to the spring.
Right.
There's a lot of work to be done between now and then, and the ability to show up each day and give your best effort and try to get better is what we're trying to do.
I'll tell you, the one thing that never changes is expectation. You have a little success, you don't dare try to rest on any of it. You just have to use it, make that your new standard, and then aspire for more. It's the only way you can win.
Yeah, and it's showing up, because if you play out last year and you go and you pick out different points in the year, you say, no way they're going to compete for a championship on the last day of the regular season.
That's right.
If you stay the course, and, talking with Coach Drayton, the SoCon is a challenging conference, and in all sports, and you've got just about every team in the league that can beat the other team, and there's no easy weekends, there's no gimmies. You got to show up to play, but on the other hand, if you can afford to lose a game or two, because if you just stay the course and keep plugging along, man, you'll be there at the end. And it's tough for 18 to 22 to see that at times. You're living day to day and the emotional side of it, winning and losing. But no, we're trying to put in work now without looking ahead to the spring, which is the most important part, or the best part. This is the most important part.
Right.
And in order to have a good team, it's got to be important now.
And those who get the real opportunities in that most important time, it's important what you do right now.
They prepare. Every year at the start of the fall, I put a ball in my bag and I write on there the date. And the same message: don't get mad in May if it's not important now. And so I can, and I look at that because sometimes I want to get fired up. But if I'm not going to make it important now, I can't expect it to be important in May, and that's when we're defined. So, it's great people around us at the Citadel. Tremendous football coach, basketball coach, and Citadel type people that you learn from, but the message is still the same. And we're trying to help facilitate and grow young men, and we want winners when they leave here, and it's our job to hold up our end of the deal and make sure we help prepare them. Winning's part of it, and that happens, and we all want to win. But if we can develop young men into what this place stands for, then we're doing a heck of a job, and those two guys do it as well as anyone. So we want to continue to do that and make sure that we're putting out winners here.
Honestly, I've talked to Coach Drayton and Coach Conroy, and probably have with you about this too. Mental toughness. In baseball, maybe more than any sport, because it's a sport that will humble you in a heartbeat. But mental toughness is part of, I think, the daily life of a Citadel cadet because of everything they have to juggle, especially if they're an athlete too. I mean, it's a challenging curriculum, and you've got to be mentally tough to take each day and put the amount of work into everything that you got to do every day.
Yeah, the place challenges you, but if it was easy, it wouldn't. It's not for everyone.
That's
and I got a chance to experience with Colonel Gordon, and they brought me in through the challenge week, and I wanted to see another side of it. I wanted to see from the inside, and I stopped throughout the week, and different companies. Really, nobody in particular who I'm looking at, but in order for me to truly respect the place, I got to learn. And I saw what the freshmen went through. And it's challenging, but I'll tell you, every coach in the country would love for their guys to go through that. They're just not allowed to do it. And here, some of the stuff that is the toughest part of it helps us be successful on the field at times. And you can't leave this place without being mentally tougher than when you started, and that's what the place is about.
Yeah, the discipline and mental toughness and things like that, those are instilled from the day they really get on campus. The
accountability.
Accountability.
It's just constant, and it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of self-discipline, a lot of self-motivation to be able to go through that and still go. But these guys understand, man. What they're going through now is helping prepare them for down the road, and we're doing the same thing in baseball for the beginning of the fall till the end of the spring. We're trying to help be more prepared, and our job as coaches is make sure we show up each day and each game and be as prepared as the team we're playing, and that falls on us. And these guys show up and work here. It's awesome. They're happy to see us. They get after it when they're down there. You just hope they don't take things personal when we're inside. We call them inside the gates. You leave your stuff behind.
Right.
Nothing's personal. We get after it. We leave it behind. We're just going to show up the next day, and we're going to continue to work. But I'm thankful for this opportunity. I love being here. I love being a part of it. It's certainly not my deal. I'm trying to do my job too, but I like the group we got working right now, and we got a long ways to go, but we got some challenges this fall that will test our team. We got Coastal Carolina, that's one of the best programs in the country, coming in here and then we got Air Force coming in here we get 2 games, so those are 2 great opportunities for our team to compete against someone else, because we're going to battle it out each day. And if anybody comes to watch practice, you're going to see there's going to be competition daily, and I think that's what sport's about. But
That's right.
Now we get to compete against someone else, so that'll be a good opportunity for our program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, Russell, I appreciate it, my man, and we'll
Thanks
look
a
forward
lot.
to. Obviously, as fast as this year has gone, before you know it, man, I mean, we'll be out there at the Joe and getting ready to hit it. But a lot of work between now and then. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out on Beyond the Barracks.
Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing.
All right, that is Russell Triplett, the baseball coach at the Citadel, hanging out with us here as we are at Over the Horizon Brewing. And we are at 2200 Harriet Street right here by downtown. We're right off I-26, right at Rutledge Avenue. Easy to find. And we still got about 15 or so minutes, a little less, to finish up tonight. Beyond the Barracks is presented by Cutwater Spirits. And we're back with more of it after this on the Citadel Bulldogs Radio Network. All right, final segment of Beyond the Barracks, and we are live tonight. We can never, ever, can we, Coach, say enough about the great folks here
That's
at
right.
Over the Horizon Brewing. You know what? I should turn the house PA thing back up before I say we can never say enough about the great folks at Over the Horizon Brewing.
I love it.
They take good care of us, and we really, really love being here on Mondays and talking football. And, when we're here next Monday, I'm hoping that we'll have a conversation about a game where you guys bounced back and you guys got after them, went to Chattanooga and got a win. Obviously, that's what lies ahead of you now. And as much as yesterday or day before, in this case, was tough, I said it earlier, man, there's a reason the rearview mirror is a lot smaller than the windshield.
Absolutely.
And you got to focus on today and tomorrow because yesterday you can't change.
No, yesterday we can't change, and we have a formidable opponent in the University of Tennessee Chattanooga Mocs.
Right.
Yeah, how about this? The mascot is a mockingbird, which
Right.
happens to be the state bird of Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. And Chattanooga comes from creek, right?
Okay.
And that word means rock coming to a point.
That's pretty
So
cool.
look out, Mountain,
Man,
Tennessee.
you did a little Here I am talking about moon pies, and you got all this cool stuff.
Well, when you said that, it made me. I said, "Well, I got to say it now, right?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I mean, they're a very good program. They're one that is annually very competitive. They're loaded with talent. Another one that's got a number of transfers. When you size them up and you watch them on tape, obviously their results, they've struggled a bit, but that Tarleton State out there has beaten everybody up. They look really formidable too.
Yeah.
And that may be a little misleading because it's at their place, long trip, and But what do you think of the Mocs?
And the Mocs are very talented. Is very reminiscent of the teams that Rusty Wright has recruited, has coached. He's a great, great coach, and I want to give him his flowers too because he was born in Aiken, South Carolina,
Yeah.
so he's a South Carolinian. But they're big up front on the offensive line. They have two backs that can really do it, a thunder and lightning package. One of the backs actually transferred from Wofford, Ryan Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then their quarterback, who's a transfer from Bowling Green, Camden Orth, is playing at a high level right now. He throws a very, very efficient ball, but he runs the ball as well. He's reminiscent to me of the quarterback we saw in Week 1 versus North Dakota State. He's pretty good. And defensively, they're big up front. They're active. They move fast. And they play a lot of press. They have gone against and they play a lot of press coverage.
It goes, beyond the strategic aspects are obvious. You guys will have your game plan well developed and all that stuff, but what do you think you guys need to do maybe to generate something early? I know it's easy to ask that and a heck of a lot harder to answer it, but I got to toss it at you anyway.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to toss it at me. What we're going to tell our players this week is in our preparation, and we have to trust the preparation and take that preparation to the game field and believe. If we can believe and trust the process, all right, and then free your mind and let your body go, the football will bounce your way at some point.
Right.
And it's our hope, it's our want that it happens on Saturday.
Honestly, there's the old saying that, confidence breeds success.
Yes.
Success breeds confidence.
Yes.
But sometimes if it's been a tough couple of games or a tough couple of weeks, you have to kind of find one before you have the other.
Correct.
And that's the challenge.
Correct. So I asked the staff, I said, hey, do you think we're a front runner bunch, right? Because if we are, then we need to manufacture something where we feel like we're front running in this game.
Right.
All right. So that was one aspect we looked at it. The other aspect truth of the matter is this. We have to take what we do on the practice field to the game. These guys are very confident on our campus. They're very confident in practice. So we just got to continue to work that brain to let them know, hey, man, that confidence can carry on to the field.
Dogs in Chattanooga, that's a 6 o'clock kickoff up there. And if you don't come to Chattanooga, and a lot of you probably won't, but we want you to join us on radio. Lee Glaze and I will have pregame coverage at 5 with the Ashley Furniture Home Store Stadium show. And if you had to identify, honestly, maybe not even strategically, if you had to identify a couple of keys in your mind for you guys, your team, what's important this week to go up there and do?
Whether it's offense, defense, special teams, we have to provide a spark. Just a spark, a flicker, and I truly believe it would turn into a flame. Whether it's a big run, whether it's defensively a turnover, ball extraction, whether on special teams we block a kick or have a big return, we need something to happen good early so that this team believes that their training, their process will bring them through.
Honestly, so, and with Kobe's situation, with him now out for whatever period of time, now you insert Quentin in the role primarily, but you have Cooper as your other option, and obviously, again, it benefits you some that both guys had played so much coming into now, and now you've got a guy that started 6 FBS games and went 4-2 a year ago at the helm, and there's something in there, obviously. Just got to get it all tightened up.
Yes, it is, and it will start with condensing the offense. I think you need to do that with him. He's only been with us through training camp.
Right.
So he hasn't had been able to handle the full scope of the menu. So we'll cut this thing down and let him be a field general, but not let him feel the pressure of having to carry the load. That's for the guys up front. That's for the tight ends, the running backs, the receivers. He needs to just settle in and don't force a play. Let the plays come to him.
Right. And there's always the old thing, and he's been at this a while. I mean, there's always the old thing that the game slows down a little bit. I think even really with more reps as you go, the game gradually slows down. This is a guy that certainly had some over the course of his career. Well, I mean, as it stands, you look ahead to the rest of the schedule. I know you guys have to focus on these games one at a time singularly, but it never does get any easier, even when you play a D2. I mean, you're going to take on one that's a perennial national championship contender. So it just underscores the need to bring the whole bag of wallop with you every week, doesn't it?
Every single week. When you do look at the schedule, and I've had this game circled, not the Valdosta State game circled for a long time. Why in the world would you do it? My friends have called me. They said, Mo, are they trying to get you fired? These guys were the D2 national runner-up last year. They have athletes out the gazoo. But you know what? We're not going to worry about them right now. We're going to focus on the mocks. We're going to get after the mocks and come back to Charleston and enjoy our bye week.
That's right. The one thing about about teams like that, I guess in some respects, even when you go out of conference and play a game like that, and we won't focus on it a lot, but you're still going to take on something that's very, very similar to what you see every week. So it's not like there's any kind of a letdown there. It's pretty much a handful like all the rest of them.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, you're absolutely correct. It's no different than a Southern Conference opponent at this point.
Right. Well, that'll about do it for us. It's the Bulldogs in Chattanooga. We will have, of course, pregame coverage, as I mentioned, from Chattanooga at 5 o'clock with our Ashley Furniture Home Store Stadium show. And then 6 o'clock, the kick between the Bulldogs and the Mocs. I was joking with Lee about this. Forever and ever, when I was in FCS football, we would play Chattanooga. I thought that Mocs went like moccasins or something.
Well, it did.
I was wrong. Oh, it did? Really?
Yeah, it did. And I did a little research on that. I can't remember when it changed from moccasin to the mockingbird.
All right.
Can't remember when it happened, but yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Wow, I'll be darned. And Rusty Wright is the head coach, a guy that big fraternity this business is. I worked with a long time, about 22, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
So that'll about do it for us. Thanks to all you who joined us on radio. As importantly, thanks to all of you who joined us out here at Over the Horizon Brewing, where a good crowd has been here tonight. It's been fun.
Yes.
And we will look forward. Coach, I'll get together with you on Thursday. We'll plan our stuff out, and I'll see you in Chattanooga after that, huh?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Will Brown in studio, as well as Terry Bass, and thanks to all you for joining us. We will talk to you Saturday, everybody. Good night, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.